Hello students, welcome to ShirtBack Academy. In this coding lesson we're going to begin Module 2. We're going to learn about loops. This lesson we're going to be doing the exercise Loops with Scrat. We're going to begin from the code.org homepage, and from there we're going to click on Learn in the top left corner. On the next page we're going to scroll down to grades K to 5 and click on Learn More. On the next page, we're going to click on Course A. And in this lesson, we're going to be doing Exercise 8, Loops with Scrat. Once we're there, we can click on the number 1 and we can begin. Here in our first puzzle, it's asking us to help Scrat get across the ice to the acorn. Let's trace the path that Scrat must go. I counted 5 blocks. I'm going to bring over 5 right arrow blocks. The E stands for east. Now that I've got my 5 arrow blocks, I'm going to use the step button to run our code. We can see Scrat is able to get across the ice. Good job. Now what we're going to do is we're going to replace our code with a loop. We're going to slide over our 5 arrows, and this time we're going to bring over a repeat. We're going to keep our repeat set to 5 and connect a right arrow inside. Let's compare the two codes. You can see that the repeat allows us to take our code from 5 blocks down to 2. It saves us time and space. Let's make sure our code is connected and click Run. This time our repeat still gets Scrat to the acorn. Great job. We're going to be using repeat loops throughout this lesson. Let's click Continue and move on to Puzzle 2. Here in Puzzle 2, it's asking us to use the left and down arrow blocks to get to the acorn. Let's go to the play space and trace the path that Scrat must go. I counted 5 blocks for Scrat to go left. I'm going to bring over 5 left arrows. From there, I'm going to bring 2 down arrows to allow us to get to the acorn. You can see our program is quite long. We have 5 left arrows and 2 down. Let's click Run. We can see that our code works well. However, here we're going to use another loop. Let's take our code and slide it over. This time, instead of using 5 left arrows, we're going to use a repeat. We're going to set it equal to 5 and connect a left arrow inside. For the second part, we're going to bring over another repeat loop. You can see this time it does not go below 3. When you only have to move 2 times, you don't necessarily have to use a repeat because it's the same amount of blocks. It's really up to you. So for our new code, we've brought over a repeat loop, set it equal to 5. Then we use 2 down arrows to get to the acorn. Let's click Run. We can see our repeat loop is working. And then we go down twice. Great job. We're going to click on Continue. And now we're going to watch a short video showing a little more about loops in Ice Age.
This is a repeat block. It'll let you loop the code inside as many times as you tell it to. To a computer, code that you write like this looks just like code that you write like this. Now you know how to use a repeat block here and in other puzzles too.
Now that we've watched the video, let's click Continue and move on to Puzzle 4. Here in puzzle 4, it's asking us to get to the acorn using just one left arrow block. We're going to try to use a loop. Let's trace the path for Scrat to the acorn. How many blocks did you count? I counted 5. We're going to bring over a repeat and make sure that it is set to 5. Inside, we're going to make sure that we connect a left arrow block. The W stands for west. When we click run, we see that our loop gets Scrat to the acorn. It moved him 5 times. Let's click continue and move on to puzzle 5. Here in puzzle 5, our instructions are asking us to add one more block to get Scrat all the way to the acorn. In our workspace, we see 2 repeat loops. Our first repeat loop is set to 4 and goes right. Our second one is empty. Let's click run. We can see that when we click run that our program doesn't work. When our repeats are not connected, our program will break and not run. To make our program work, we're going to connect a down arrow block to our second repeat loop. Now when we click run, we see that our loops work. We go right 4 times and down 4 times. Great job! Way to debug that program. Let's click continue and move on to puzzle 6. Here in puzzle 6, we need to add a loop to get to the acorn. In our workspace, we see 2 repeat loops. One set to right 4 times and one set to down 4 times. What do we need to do to get Scrat to the acorn? When we run our program, we see that Scrat is able to get most of the way to the acorn. The existing code works. To finish our code, we're going to bring over another repeat. We're going to set it equal to 4 and inside put a left arrow. Now when we hit run, we see our first loop works, our second loop works, and now the third that we added works as well. Alright, great job everybody. We used 3 repeat loops in that program. Let's click continue and move on to puzzle 7. Here in puzzle 7, let's trace the path for Scrat to get to the acorn. We're going to use repeat loops to get there. We can see the first part of the path, Scrat goes down, then he goes left, and then up. Let's start our code. The first thing we're going to do is bring over a repeat and connect a down arrow. In the first part of the path, Scrat must go down 4 blocks. In the second part of the path, we're going to bring over another repeat, but this time we're going to connect a left arrow. Scrat must go left 4 blocks. For the final part of the puzzle, we're going to bring over a third repeat. This time we're going to connect an up arrow. Now we have 3 repeats in our program. Let's check each loop. Each one is set to 4, and we go down, left, right. When we click run, our first loop works, our second, and our third. Great job! Scrat appreciates all the snacks. Let's click continue and move on to puzzle 8. Here in puzzle 8, it's asking us to fix the code. We're going to have to debug this program. Let's take a look at the workspace. Here in the workspace, we see 4 coding loops. The first one goes right 3 times. The second one goes up 3 times. Then we go left 4 and down 4. We're going to click run and see if we can find the bug in the program. We can see our first loop goes 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to start our second loop. Scrat goes 1, 2, 3. When we hit step again, oh no, Scrat falls in the water. We moved on to the third repeat without finishing the second one. We found our bug. In the second repeat loop, we have to change the 3 to 5. Scrat needs to go 2 more blocks in the second part of the path. Now when we hit run, our first loop works. Our second one works, so we debug there. And it looks like our last 2 loops will get us to the acorn. Great job, everybody. Strong debugging skills. Let's click continue and move on to puzzle 9. Here in puzzle 9, the acorn is so far away. We need to use some loops to get Scrat to the acorn. Let's go to the play space and trace the path. Scrat must go right, down, left, and up. Count the blocks as you trace. Let's build our code. The first part of our program, we're going to bring over a repeat and connect a right arrow. We're going to set it to 5 because that's how many blocks are in the first part of the path. For the second part of the path, we're going to bring a second repeat and connect a down arrow. We're also going to set this one to 5. When we click run, we see our first loop is working. He turns, and now our second loop is working. Let's finish the code. We're going to bring over a third repeat, connect a left arrow, and set it equal to 3. That will take care of the third part of the path. The last part, to get to the acorn, we're going to bring over a final repeat and connect an up arrow. We're going to set this one equal to 3 as well. Now let's take a look at our code. You can see that we have 4 repeat loops. Our first 2 repeat 5 times, and our last 2 repeat 3 times, each one in a different direction. Let's click reset and run. We can see our first loop is highlighted, now the second, and now to finish the code we use our last 2 repeat loops. Great job, everyone. 4 repeats in the same program. Great job. Let's click continue and move on to puzzle 10. All right, our challenge puzzle. Challenge puzzles are designed to stretch our brains. Let's see how we do. Here in our challenge puzzle, we have several different paths that Scrat needs to go. Let's trace them. We can see to start that Scrat will go down. He goes left, up, left again, and then down. To start our code, we're going to bring over a repeat. In the first part of the path, Scrat must go down 5 blocks. You can count them in the play space. The second part of our code, we're going to bring over another repeat, set it to 2, and bring over a left arrow. For the third part of the path, again we count 5 blocks. This time we'll bring over an up arrow. Now we have 3 repeat loops. We're going to check our program and click run, see how we're doing. We can see our first loop works, our second one, and so is our third. So far we're doing well. To finish our code, we're going to bring over another repeat and a left arrow, set it equal to 2. For the final part of the path, we need one more repeat loop. This time we're going down 5 times. Double check your code. We have 5 repeat loops. This is our longest program yet. Let's click Reset, make sure all of our code is connected, and click Run. We can see that as we go through each loop, Scrat is getting closer to the acorn. The last 2 repeats that we added work great. Awesome job, everyone. Challenge puzzle complete. 2 more puzzles. Let's finish strong. Here in puzzle 11, it's asking us to get Scrat to the acorn. Let's trace the path. Scrat goes left, up, right, and up. Let's start our code. The first thing we're going to do is bring over a repeat and connect a left arrow. We're going to set the repeat to 4 because there are 4 blocks Scrat must go. The second part, we're going to bring over another repeat and set it equal to 2. This time Scrat will go up. When we click Run, we see our first loop works, and so does our second. We can see that in our next part, we must go right 4 times. We're going to bring over a third repeat loop. To finish the puzzle, Scrat must go up 2 times. Let's double check our code. We have 4 repeat loops. Make sure all of the arrows inside are connected. We're going to go back and click Reset and Run. We can see our first loop works, the second, and the new ones we added work also. Great job. Scrat has a full belly with it as well as your guys are coding. Let's click Continue, move on to our final puzzle. Here in puzzle 12, we have a big ice patch. There's a lot of different ways we can get Scrat to the acorn. Trace a couple different paths. We can go right and up. We can go up and right or anything in between. We're going to go the bottom path. After we traced our path, we can see that Scrat will go right 5 times. We'll bring over our repeat and connect our right arrow. We're going to bring over a second repeat and set this one equal to 5. In our second repeat loop, we're going to bring an up arrow. We want Scrat to move right 5 times and then up 5 times. We're going to use our step button, and we can see that Scrat is moving right. And now as we move to our second loop, he goes up. Well done, everyone. If you'd like to try a different path in that level, click Replay. Congratulations to everyone. We've completed Loops with Scrat and our first lesson in Module 2 Loops. If you have any questions about any of the puzzles in this lesson, please find the time point in the video and review that section. We'll see everybody in the next video. We thank you for following along. Enjoy the rest of your day and keep on coding.